I have a fence that protects my property, and I've never called it a deer fence. I've always called it a woodland protection fence. Now I'd like everyone to consider changing the way we describe these fences from deer fences to woodland protection fences. And that is the only reason I have the fence, is to protect my woodlands. Thank you very much.
How tall is your fence, Roger?
I have an 8-footer.
Anybody else want to talk? Yes, sir.
Joe McGowan, 716 Ringland. Bill, help me here. I sent you an email regarding one aspect of the grandfathering.
I passed it out to everybody on the board.
Is it appropriate to discuss that now, or?
Well, it's really up to the board to decide, you know, whether, you're talking about the nails in the,
Yeah.
nails in the trees.
I mean, I believe there's a very compelling factual case to strike that statement from grandfathering of the existing deer fences. And I'm just asking for at some point, common sense and discussion
Well,
to occur.
this is the recommendation of our forester, and I'll let him comment on that.
Yeah, I think mechanically, trees grow in two ways. They get larger in diameter and they get taller. The branches get longer, the tree gets taller, the roots get longer. And in that growth character of expand or getting larger in diameter, they have a tendency to eat the things that are attached to the tree. And there's classic examples where people put their barbed wire fences around trees, and somebody cuts a tree down 50 years later and there's barbed wire or there's horseshoes in it. I think that as a general sense, anything that's attached to the tree that the tree can't easily eat, if you will, it's going to cause some potential problems for the tree. So I haven't looked at your particular fence, with how you've attached it, but it's the same problem that people have when they put a lot of people put lights in the trees, and there's not a lot of lighting contractors that understand how trees grow. So if you attach a light to a tree and you put a bolt directly into the tree, it's adjustable, so as the tree grows, you can move the fixture out. Eventually, the tree will eat that bolt, and it'll heal it over. But if it's trying to absorb a piece of fence that's going this way across the face of it instead of perpendicular to it, it'll try to eat that.
What my worries are, if we allow you to have your fence nailed to a tree, then, maybe it'll be okay for your particular house, but everybody else is gonna want to be able to nail a tree. And
I'm not talking about the future
I'm
ordinance.
talking about there's a lot of places right now that shouldn't be nailed to trees, and that's what we're talking about.
The evidence is very clear. The only nail that will damage a tree is a copper nail. You can talk to any reputable landscaping.
I'm not
Please.
gonna argue with you.
I don't understand you did not address a nail in a tree. I understand the lighting and fixtures and if you put wires and stuff around it, but putting in that, if you have a nail that's been in a tree for 12 years, okay, and the tree is as healthy as the day is long, why should you pull the nail out of the tree?
It isn't the nail, it's what the nail's holding to the tree. You're talking
What?
about a piece of fence that isn't going to dissolve, right? I mean, what's going to happen to that? The tree is going to try to eat the nail in the fence. Now, maybe the fence will break, I don't know.
No, the fence is not, the fence is just, it's on the side of the tree.
I know, and the tree gets bigger this way. The tree grows in diameter.
And the fence is highly flexible and it expands out. It's a non-issue.
Well, it's pretty standard in most village ordinances if you go to Park Ridge, or you go to any community like that, they prohibit the attachment of signs, et cetera, to the tree.
So you're telling me I can't screw an eye hook into a tree and hang a hammock?
I'm not telling you that at all. But if you attach a piece of fence to it, maybe
The fence isn't attached to the tree, Chuck.
Where is it?
It's laying up against the side of the
Okay,
trees.
So maybe in the case of a plastic deer fence, the fence will break when the tree's gonna try to eat that nail. And it's not a problem eating the nail, it's what's attached to it. It's that simple. I mean, if you,
I'm sorry, you're not making any sense. The nail's been in there for 12 years. There's been no damage.
We're going round and round.
No.
We're going.
Maybe he should be getting
Linda?
Might have been talking.
What I'm hearing, and I don't know if I'm hearing this right or not, so correct me, but I know the two of you have part of your deer fences that are connected just to a tree by a nail, correct? And you
Because that was
like-
the only option, yeah.
Right, and you are looking to be grandfathered in.
Right.
Is there any way that the board can do an exception for those people who had it this way
No.
to correct it by putting a post there and connecting it to the post?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what he
oh,
wants
yeah,
to do.
absolutely,
He's
that's
putting
not what
the
he
post.
wants to do.
He wants to leave it in the tree.
You
Well-
can, so he can just go ahead and if he needed to, he could put a post there
That's right.
and
Absolutely.
connect,
That's all we're asking him to do.
or you could have a system
and he's
that
still
anchors.
grandfathered in.
You could have a system that anchored to the tree that you could adjust, that
Okay.
you could replace it, you know, you could do something with it so it isn't permanently.
Even though when I put it in 12 years ago, I was told by the village I didn't need a permit, and therefore there were no regulations in place that said how you could or could not install a fence.
Even though,
Even though.
That's not correct.
Okay.
I've talked to 2 different foresters about it, and they both told me the same thing, because I was curious with regard to attaching things to trees with nails. It's just not good for the trees. If you have a deer fence up because you're purporting to protect your woodland, and you have part of that fence attached in a way that 2 separate foresters have told me is not healthy for the trees, it's a contradiction in terms as far as I'm concerned. It's easy enough to put a post on and repair and not have that problem.
Is your question more to the point of, can I put more nails into the trees?
No.
No.
Or, if I can finish, or is your question more to the point of, I don't want to be forced to remove the nails from the trees?
Thank you, yes. That's my issue. First of all, I don't know that I can remove the nails from the tree. They've been in there for 12
We're
years.
not asking you to remove the nail, we're just removing.
Why don't they come by, we'll take a look at it and we'll figure out a solution to it.
Thank you.
Okay,
It's the best.
fair enough.
Okay, let's get on with it. Consideration of sprinkling ordinance. Yes.
As the mayor started to say, this is not about sprinkling lawns. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Robbie Gasty with the Lincolnshire Riverwoods Fire Protection District. I'm a 30-year veteran, I'm a chief officer, and I wear a lot of hats. I'm also the liaison to the Village of Riverwoods, and that's why you see me here at the meetings. By the way, this is year 3. My first meeting was in this room, and 2 things stand out in my mind because I didn't know anyone. Bill Spodek came up to me and told me to lose the tie. And somebody said something that I thought was very heartfelt. I didn't look up, didn't know who said it. I didn't know people well enough to recognize voices. But somebody said, we'll see how long this lasts. Because I just introduced myself and said this was going to be an ongoing effort. 3 years, I'm still here.
All right.
I'm glad you wanted to tie in.
I'm committed to being your liaison and have been for these 3 years, and my agency is committed to having this kind of relationship. This is, however, the first time I've asked to speak on the agenda. Why would I do that? Because it's important. And I wouldn't have felt that way in spring of 2009, to be honest with you. I was not a supporter of residential sprinklers as long as people had smoke detectors. I didn't see the need. I thought that smoke detectors were sufficient, and in my mind, if you didn't get out with a smoke detector, there was something wrong. Fortunately, I was accepted to a class that the board has heard about before. I go to the National Fire Academy every year for 2 weeks. It's quite a commitment. My wife just really loves it. And for that 2-week period, I'm part of a program that's very elite for chief officers. Only 200 are accepted each year. It's called the Executive Fire Officer Program.